Hi friends, welcome to episode 36 of Pantry to Plate. I'm Kristen, the dietitian at the Atlanta Community Food Bank, and we are coming to you from the Learning Kitchen at the Food Bank. Today we're doing something a little bit different where we are going to highlight some items within our inventory, and I'm going to show you a few ways that you can prepare them at home. So here are the ingredients that we're working with. So in inventory, we have these packages of frozen avocado chunks. They come 12 to a case, and they are really convenient. No prep necessary, just thaw them out and use them for anything that you would like to make with avocados. Next thing we have are these Fiesta Twist. These look exactly like cinnamon twists from a certain fast food restaurant, except they're savory and kind of taste like queso. We're going to use these as a crunchy topping on the dishes that I'm going to show you today. And then last but not least, basically the star of the show is enchilada sauce. So we have 3 different versions of enchilada sauce in inventory. This one is a 28-ounce can, and it comes 12 to a case. And this is going to be the sauce for each dish that I'm going to prepare today. So there's a lot of different ways you can use this, and I'm going to show you some different ways. We're not making enchiladas today, and we're going to call this a Tex Mex dinner episode. Okay, let's go. Let me move this out of the way. Okay, so I'm going to be using some of our food bank resources to give you an idea of how you can use these ingredients. I'm not following a specific recipe because you might have this in your pantry and you might not. So you could use these recipe builders to make dishes that fit what you have in your pantry. So first off, I'm going to make a casserole that is vegetarian. I'm calling it a vegetarian enchilada casserole using the enchilada sauce, well, all of it. Actually, we're going to top everything with guacamole. That's where the avocado comes into play. So we're going to make our casserole, and then we're also going to make a turkey pasta with the enchilada sauce instead of like a tomato sauce, because you can fit any type of sauce into a pasta situation. And then last but not least, I'm going to show you our quick and easy chicken tacos recipe, where I'm going to substitute out the jar of salsa in this recipe with the enchilada sauce. So it's a really diverse ingredient that we're going to spread out across all the recipes today. So let's get started. First thing I'm going to do is we're going to make a casserole, and we're going to start there because that's going to take the longest to prepare. So here we go. Casserole. We're over here. Okay, so I decided to make this one vegetarian, and you can use meat if you would like to do that. So what I've got here is, so our framework is going to show us the base, the protein and vegetable mixture, the sauce, and then the topping. So my base for this is going to be white rice. You can use rice or pasta or barley or quinoa, whatever you like here. So I'm just going to put my rice here on the bottom. And then in this bowl, I've got the protein and the vegetable mix. So I've got some cooked lentils and pinto beans here to have a little bit of different texture in there. And then for the vegetable, I'm using 1 bag of frozen peppers and onions. So you can't really get more convenient than that. No chopping necessary for this dish. And it's really great to use up leftover rice or leftover lentils. You can not use the beans, you can leave out the lentils and use the beans, and you won't have any prep work except cooking rice ahead of time. So we've got our veggie protein mix here. I'm going to pour in my enchilada sauce, and I want you to eyeball this. So this isn't going to be a specific amount that you need. We want to make sure that it's wet but not soupy, because if it's soupy, your casserole is going to be soupy. There we go. And our enchilada sauce is going to be the seasoning for each of these dishes today. I'm going to adjust a little bit more. So you can add your own seasonings if you would like to, but I will say pay attention to the salt, or leave the salt out and maybe just put it on your plate at the end if you think you need more, because our enchilada sauce is going to have the salt. So here we go. We're going to put this right on top and spread it out. Here we go. We're going to top it with some shredded cheese. Okay. And then last but not least, we're going to top it off with some crunched up queso twist chips that we have in the warehouse. So this is a great opportunity to get your kiddos involved with getting them all crunched up. I'm going to do this with my casserole dish because that just works for me right now. Here we go. This is going to give you a nice crunchy topping, and it's also going to give you the sort of Tex-Mex flavors of the queso right on top. Okay, so then you're going to bake this off in about a 400-degree oven just until it's bubbly or the cheese is brown around the edges of the pan. Because everything here is cooked all the way through, you don't have to wait for anything to cook through and take too much time. Let's put that in the oven. All right, I conveniently have one already ready to go, so I'm going to show you the final product, and then we're going to move on to our next dish. Here's a mini version of our casserole. It's all brown and crispy on top, and we're just going to scoop it out and put it in our little bowl here and show you what the final product looks like. Those edges are crispy. That's great. And it smells delicious. Here we go. So, final product there. Vegetarian enchilada casserole with the crispies on top. It smells delicious. I hope you will try this. All right, on to the next. So the next thing we're going to make is our pasta, our enchilada pasta. And here I'm going to be using ground turkey as the protein. You can use any meat as your protein for this dish. Or you could keep it vegetarian. You could choose a pasta that has protein in it and not have a meat. Or you could add some beans or whatever you have on hand. So on our framework, on our pasta framework, we've got our categories, our pasta choice, our vegetable, our protein, and our sauce. So our pasta choice, I've just got some spirals here, some rotini. You can use any shaped pasta, including spaghetti. I just like the texture of this pasta, so that's the one that I chose. For our protein, I've got ground turkey, and then for a vegetable, I'm using those frozen peppers and onions again because they fit perfectly into this Tex-Mex theme, and convenient is the key here, really. So I browned off the ground turkey, and then I took it out of the pan and added the peppers to the pan and just turned it up really high because these peppers they're already cooked, so I just wanted to get some color on them. And I mix it all together, and I add some seasonings here. So we've got your classic taco mix seasonings. We've got some chili powder and cumin, oregano, and some garlic powder. So I'm going to mix this in with my pasta. And then, as before, you're going to use as much or as little enchilada sauce as you like. Give it a taste and see if you want to add some sugar to it like you might do if you were using like a tomato product. I don't recommend using a lot, but you might need just a little bit of balance so it doesn't taste like straight enchilada sauce. But it's a really great flavor combination. So I'm going to add enchilada sauce and give it a good mix. Yum, yum, yum. You just call it taco pasta. That looks delicious. I like sauce. I'm going to put a little bit more. And there we go. Turkey enchilada pasta coming right up. All right, last but not least, I want to show you this chicken taco filling that you can use for just about anything. You may recognize this recipe. I've made it in the past for other episodes highlighting different components of the recipe, but this one is a food bank favorite. So we are going to be using canned chicken as our protein today. My little hint for using the canned chicken is as soon as you get it out of the can, drain it off and go ahead and season it, and it makes it delicious. We're also going to be using 1 can of black beans that I drained and rinsed, 1 can of corn that I drained and rinsed, and of course, enchilada sauce. So over here on the stove top, I've got 1 onion that I have sauteed, and it is nice and opaque and looks a little bit clear. So now I can go ahead and just add the rest of the ingredients, and that's the only cooking you have to do prior to mixing it together. So I'm going to add my chicken. And then my corn and my black beans. And then the enchilada sauce. So this recipe typically has a jar of salsa, about a 15-ounce jar of salsa. So you can replace that with the enchilada sauce. And you're going to get similar consistency and flavor as the salsa. You're not going to get the chunky tomatoes if that's a thing that you don't really like. You can also add some diced tomatoes to this mix to add an additional vegetable to your filling. I really love to eat this over rice instead of in tacos or over the top of nachos. You have a lot of options to sort of mix this up and eat it throughout the week where you're not eating like tacos every day. So those are some good ways to use this up. So that smells delicious. All you would do here is just let it come to a simmer and then you're good to go. You've got a delicious chicken taco mix to use on any Tex Mex style dish that you would like. I'm gonna let this cook over here and come to a simmer. And then last but not least, I'm gonna show you how to make guacamole with our frozen avocado chunks. This one has the most amount of prep ahead, but it is not too prep heavy. So this is our avocado chunks. This is how much comes in one package. It's about the amount of 3 avocados. So you can use that rule of thumb as you're deciding what to make with it. I've got about a quarter of really finely chopped onion. You can use sweet onion or you can use red onion for a different color. Any onion you have will work. And you can use more or less depending on your taste. I've got a couple cloves of garlic chopped up really small. This is half of a jalapeno. It smelled spicy today. So I feel like they're hit or miss when they come from the grocery store. This one smelled spicy as I was cutting it. So I'm gonna use a little bit less because I don't want to set anybody on fire who's gonna eat this afterwards. And then I've got about a quarter cup of chopped cilantro. Okay, so I'm gonna take a fork and I'm just gonna mix this and mash it all together and get the chunks of avocado mixed in really well. They are so soft and easy to mix in. Like, it's so easy. Sometimes your avocado can be hit or miss. It can be ripe one minute and then bad the next. So this is a great way to have the avocado ready to go, and you're not playing avocado roulette. And it mashes so easily. Okay. And then I'm going to top it off with some fresh lime juice. You can also use the jarred kind if you have that. And this is a really nice juicy lime. So you can add tomatoes here if you like to. That is an optional ingredient. You can also make this like a dinner and eat it with some chips by adding some like black beans or something to the mix. If you're feeling like you don't want to prepare a whole meal, or you want something cool because it's hot outside like it is now. So that's a good way to eat this. You can spread it on some toast and eat it for breakfast, or eat it with chips or some other veggies. I recommend serving this on the side of any of the dishes that I prepared today. So you can put it on the side of your casserole or right on top for a creamy, sour taste on the top there. And then on the top of your pasta, on top of your taco mix. So you've got a lot of options for this. I will say, when you use frozen avocado, the texture is very soft. So it's not going to hold up very well if you want to eat it like in chunk form straight out of the package. It's going to get really mushy really fast. So in dishes like this where it's going to be mashed and mixed in, it's a great option for your frozen avocado. You can also make smoothies with it. That's a great way to use it up. It's going to add a really filling source of fat and fiber into your smoothie and makes it really creamy. Like I like just avocado smoothies if you've ever had that before. It's great. Okay, those are a few ways that you can use the enchilada sauce, the frozen avocado chunks, and the queso twist that we currently have in the food bank warehouse. You can find our recipe frameworks all online. I'm going to drop that link in the chat for you to see it. And then we have a lot more available than just the two that I highlighted today. You can use the chicken taco mix on our nachos framework or tacos framework. We also have one for grain bowls where you can build a bowl with all of the food groups represented. I mean, there's more. There's one for curry. There's a lot. So I love them because they're really flexible and customizable, and it's just completely based on what you have in your pantry at the time, and it's not one set way to prepare it. So pantry partners, I've got a checklist for you. If you would like to order these items from eHarvest, here is our item codes for each item. Remember, I did say that there are 3 versions of enchilada sauce. So the one that I showed you today is the one listed on the screen. And then there are 2 other options that are in the 14, 15 ounce can, which is half the size of that large can. So you have a couple options there. If you want to find our recipe frameworks, they're in the bottom bit.ly link there on the screen. And I hope you will share this information with your community members. You could bundle these ingredients together and share them with your neighbors to make a really convenient meal package. That's one way to consider distributing them to your neighbors. So thank you so much for joining in this episode of Pantry to Plate. We will see you in 2 weeks for our next episode. We are going to have a special food banker guest who I'm excited to share with you all. He's a wealth of knowledge and he can cook. So I'll see you in 2 weeks. Thanks so much.